In this lesson I will show you how you can use your UV together with something called Trim Sheet, and I think it's just easier to start right away. So first of all I would like to make a trim sheet, and a trim sheet is more or less small pieces of textures where you then place the UV where you want the UV to have that specific piece of puzzle or piece of texture. So first we do that texture that we can play with, very simple using color ramp. So I press Shift A and then I go to input texture coordinate, and we take separate XYZ, so Shift A, and here we go to converter, and there you have the separate XYZ. So just put that in to our UV here, and now if we drag from X to the base color and use the render view, you can see it goes from black to white. So we just add a color ramp between the X and the base color. You can just move the texture coordinate a bit to separate. And now I press Shift A, converter, color ramp, put that in here. And I change linear to constant, press the plus sign a few times, and we can then add some different things here. So we can add some white, for instance. We can add some like this, perhaps like that. You can decide what color you want. So I will use these later on for Monkey the Susan. So I'm thinking about different parts on the head that we can use these for. So I can change this to like red, and I can change this to yellow, and yeah, that doesn't matter. We can use the same colors we have here, so I just pick that one like that. And then I go down here and select distribute stops evenly, so it's easier to work with. So this will then create an image and we just render it. So I suggest that you go to the first one here and change to Eevee, because it will be a lot faster render, and that will take away the principle and just use the color ramp directly to the material output here. And now I just press F12 to render, finished, and go to image, save as, and save it wherever you want. So we have it in here. So now we have some colors in here, which will be good to use later on. And we go back to the 3D viewport, we take away this plane here, and we add the monkey. So mesh, and then monkey here. Okay, so now we have that in. And the next thing we should do is then, of course, to add this texture that we have done. So to do that, we need to UV unwrap this in a good way. So we can first create another window here. And then I can go from object mode into edit mode. So we have it in edit mode, and this will be our UV editor. So we have that in. And now we can take away the image that is here for a moment, just so we can see our UVs here. And now it's rather easy to see the different parts here, but we can divide it even more, so we can separate the nose, for instance, the mouth, and so on, even if we see the eyes here. So first of all we need a background, and that will be the trim sheet that we did. So you can just go to image, open, and just open wherever you had your image. So we have it in, and then that will be the background for our UV here. Then we can start from beginning. So Alt A to deselect, and you can select faces. For the eyes you just press L to select one eye, and then you get it here. And we can do like this, that I should have, I think I would have some black here as well, but now I don't have it. So we can make this part red instead for black. So just select these parts here. So we have that, like this. and then you press UV unwrap, and it will unwrap just that part and have it selected. So you use islands, because then you can just click here and scale, and as I said, I would like that part to be red. So I just G to move it, put it somewhere here. Since we are using a constant color, it doesn't matter where you put it as long as it's in this red row here. And we can do the same with other eyes. So we just select these parts here, holding down shift and click, and then UV unwrap, and then we just UV unwrap that part. So we click on that, scale it down, and put it somewhere on the red part here. So now we have those in, and then we can, I think we can press, yes, we can press Alt to select everything that is not this red part here. So I just press down Alt button and your mouse button, so we select that. We UV unwrap it, and same thing, select it, and I think this should be the white. So scale down, put it on the white here, and then Alt A here to remove it, and then take Alt and take this part here, do the same again, UV unwrap, click, scale, move it to the white part here, and now we can take the nose, so we can make it yellow. So Alt A to deselect everything, then Alt to select the surrounding of the nose, and then Shift, and click. So we have the nose in, and we can just UV unwrap, and that could be a yellow one. So select it, scale, and then we move this a bit so we have it in the yellow part here. And I think the mouth could also be red, so we select that. So select one, then hold down shift, and it can be so that we can use Alt here as well. Okay, just try it, see what happens. Yes, it looks good to use Alt to get the complete thing here, and then just shift and click on these here. So we have that in, looks good. UV unwrap, that is the mouth, and I said that should be red, so we just select that one, scale it down, move it to G, and now we have all the small parts in that we would like to have. So we can just select everything, pressing A, and move the rest where we would like to have it. And I would like to have this skin color for the rest here. So take the big thing here and then scale. So more careful like this. Put it in. I can rotate it a bit. It doesn't matter, as I said, since it's a constant color here. We have something here. We can scale that. G to move it. And this one, scale, and G to move it a bit like that. So now we have our eyes here. We can move that, but don't need to be on each other. So we have a white. We have a skin tone. We have the inner side of the eyes here, and we have the mouth, and then we have this part here of the nose, and we have these parts here on the yellow for the eyes here. So now everything is a good separation. So now we can just go back to edit mode, pressing tab, and create a material for it. So we go to the material properties, new, so we have that in. And now all we have to do really is to make an image that goes into the base color. So Shift A, texture, image texture, connect it to the color, and just change this to our color ramp. And as soon as you do that, you get all the colors in on Susan the Monkey. We can take up the subdivision a bit, so add modifier, subdivision surface, so it looks like this. So now we got everything nice using just trim sheet. So we take parts of the texture, places the UV where we would like to have that part of the texture. And now it was very simple. It was only like 4 different colors. But let's say that you have a library full of books or something like that, and you would like to almost have these books in different, not just different colors, but also with different titles and so on. Then you could have a texture with all those titles and good backsides and so on of the book, and just select UV parts of your object to place that on a texture. Or you have like a brick wall with a lot of bricks, and you will have different parts in different ways so it doesn't get repetitive. Then you can use this type of technique. And that is a very common way to make things in games, because you save a lot of texture, because you reuse areas of that texture over and over again in your game. So it's a common technique, and you call it trim sheet when you do it like this. So that is how that works. So hopefully you have learned something new now as well, and I will see you in the next lesson. So just say bye for now.